Hello everyone, how's it going? So we're talking about Ubisoft again, the company that fell from grace, that used to be a really good company that delivered incredible games, that really pushed gaming to its forefronts, that had great storytelling, cinematography that compared to most movies, and it was just a really good company. And nowadays it's become a meme. Basically, the Ubisoft game is a giant empty open world with repetitive tasks and very mediocre gameplay mechanics and a standard story that really doesn't do much. Assassin's Creed is their biggest franchise of all time, and you can see from this number it's not doing so hot, despite the fact we had like articles like this hit 2 million players, putting it on track to be the most successful game in the series, which is ridiculous. As someone who's played every mainline Assassin's Creed game, I can tell you right now this was the worst one in the entire franchise. But this game was pushed so hard that I don't know if we played the same game or what people were smoking when it came to this title. But also the 2 million player mark is mainly because people bought Ubisoft Plus in order to just play this game day one rather than buy the full game, which is just the same thing Xbox tried to pull, and now they're suffering for it, and Ubisoft is doing the same thing. And just to compare, Baldur's Gate 3 in comparison, which is a much smaller franchise than Assassin's Creed, is doing better numbers in the last 24 hours than the all-time peak of this game, which launched on Steam day one. It is really sad. And just to put it out there, this is the comparison between the Switch 2 version on the right side and the PC version on Ultra settings. Just, I mean, I don't even know. Like, look at this. It's ridiculous. And it got so bad that they started to sell portions of their company to Tencent. So China now controls some of the biggest IPs in Ubisoft right now. The ex-Assassin's Creed boss is suing Ubisoft because apparently he was forced out of the company instead of actually just leaving on his own volition. So this is an article right here stating how Koye's departure from Ubisoft last October came as a surprise to fans, as the company and thousands of Assassin's Creed developers just weeks after the brand became part of Ubisoft's new Tencent-backed business entity Vantage Studios. Code had served more than 20 years at Ubisoft and worked at a string of Assassin's Creed hits before the promotion head up the flagship of the brand in 2022. And then Coates' lawsuit claims that he was essentially replaced in his role in early 2025 by Vantage Studios' newly installed leadership, Christophe Duris and Charles Guillemot, the cousin of the son of the Ubisoft Yves Guillemot, which is also another problem that they're going through. With this layer management now above him, Coates claims that he learned over the summer of 2025 that Vantage was now seeking to hire a new Assassin's Creed franchise boss too. And during the 2-week period of reflection of what to do next, Cole told Ubisoft his exit from the company would require severance pay. It was at this point that Ubisoft allegedly told Cole not to show up for work as expected on October 13th. Await a formal response. The following day, October 14th, Ubisoft announced that Cole had departed. So yeah, he's suing because apparently he was forced out and he didn't leave of his own volition. And there was also the hack that happened, which there have been contrasting reports about the severity of this hack, but regardless, it's not a good look when one of your biggest money makers, in this case Rainbow Six Siege, was hacked and there were billions of in-game currency just given out to people. And a good reflection of this is literally just, yeah, the stock price. The stock price, one stock in Ubisoft cost less than a Dr. Pepper. And if you look at year to date, 5 year, just, that is not a good line. Just, yeah, that is really bad. I don't know if this is going to bounce back like GameStop stock, but I doubt it. I think Tencent is just going to turn this into a giant gacha system with all the Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Ghost Recon, whatever games they can turn into gacha games and just like do a game mill situation and just push out as many games as possible. But it just gets even worse because... And then we have even more bad news because today Ubisoft had another bloodbath. So Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake has been completely cancelled. Now, for those who don't know, they were remaking the first beloved game that restarted the entire trilogy that was really well received by a lot of people. And it just kept getting delayed and pushed back. There were rumors that they were changing major lore aspects of the original game, so not exactly a good sign, and today they just flat out canceled it. So they stated, to the Prince of Persia community, we want to share with you this directly. quickly. We've made the difficult decision to stop development on Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake. We know this is deeply disappointing. The game carries enormous meaning for fans and for the teams who worked on it. While this project had real potential, we weren't able to reach the level of quality you deserve, and continuing would have required more time and investment that we could responsibly commit. And we don't want to release something that fell short of what the Sands of Times represent. I don't know, you've released a lot of games that were in poor quality. Look at Ghost Recon Wildlands, Assassin's Creed Unity. Don't forget what happened when that game launched. Rainbow Six Siege technically was launched in a too bad state, so this isn't the first time they've released a broken, unpolished game, so can't really state that. Prince of Persia as a universe and legacy continues to matter deeply to us, and the decision does not mean we're stepping away from the franchise. Thank you for your passion, patience, and love for Prince of Persia. And yeah, not exactly a good sign, and it just gets worse because Ubisoft cancels 6 projects, including Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, closes 2 studios, confirms further layoffs, and major company restructure. So Ubisoft has announced a sweeping company restructure that will result in the cancellation of 6 games, including Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, and a delay of further 7 titles. So 2 Ubisoft studios will be closed completely as a result of the changes, while others are subject to further layoffs. Of the dozen games that have been fully scrapped, Ubisoft is only publicly naming one, the long-awaited Sands of Time remake, rebooted once already. So yeah, 3 canceled games, IPs, it's just crazy. And apparently the Black Flag remake was supposed to launch this year. It was supposed to go gold in February, and it was going to kind of be shadow dropped in a way, but yeah, that's also been completely delayed. So Ubisoft published a document earlier today busting out information regarding the ongoing restructuring effort at the Titanic Gaming Company. This document included an outline of the new creative houses that have been established to drive forward development of various categories of games. Unfortunately, the release also comes with new layoffs, cancellation, and delays to Prince of Persia remake, as we talked about. And according to somewhat vague statement, the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag remake has likely been delayed up to a year. The Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag emerged in 2013 and still widely considered one of the best games in the franchise. It plants players in the Caribbean at the height of the pirating buzz, giving them a ship, a crew, and a couple of assassin blades to boot. It remains unsurpassed in some areas, and the nature of the remake has been one of the most talked about topics in gaming for years. So yeah, not exactly a good sign, but considering that Ubisoft hasn't really released a really good game in years, I don't really trust them to release a good version of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is one of my favorite games within the franchise. Edward Kenway is criminally underrated as one of the best assassins in the franchise, especially his family with Haytham Kenway and Connor, but what are you going to do? The people who made this banger of a game have left Ubisoft, and I guess the scraps that are still there are probably looking for new employment elsewhere. I can't really blame them. The ship is sinking. China is really taking control. Like, as much as people would like to say, like, China doesn't have full control of what's going on right now with Ubisoft, I would disagree. I think that considering their stock price and everything that's going on right now, they have a bigger say what's going on right now, because whatever they're doing right now isn't working. You could just look at the player count of these titles compared to much more successful games. And yes, these are 2 different genres, but nevertheless, I'm pretty sure that you would want your game to do these numbers as opposed to these numbers. And given that Baldur's Gate 3 is a much smaller franchise than Assassin's Creed, this has had movies made of them, books made of them. Like, I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate 3 has books, but movies have been made of Assassin's Creed. And yeah, it just doesn't look great. And with the hacks, the poor performance of games, the cancellations, everything that's going on with Ubisoft, I don't know how much longer this company is going to last before they just sweep up and take everything they have. I think the biggest issue with Ubisoft nowadays is that they grew too big. Like, they basically put themselves too far, stretched too much into other realms, and because of that, they just lacked quality control. You can see this with all the games. They tried to streamline so many of the games to repeat the same concepts that, to the point, they lost all their identity. Far Cry, Ghost Recon, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, Watch Dogs is basically dead. All these games had distinct themes and ideologies, and now eventually they just collapsed on one another because they all have the same principles: open world, bland design, repetitive gameplay mechanics. Even the characters that once used to be the golden standard of video game characters, like Enzio Auditore, Altair, Connor, Edward Kenway, Haytham Kenway, all these incredible characters have just suffered greatly. Like, I doubt anyone even remembers the characters within Assassin's Creed Shadows other than Yasuke, because he was on the forefront of that big controversy, and guess what? He also ended up being such a weak character as well. What could have been an incredible storytelling device where they could have created corrupted memories, similar to Assassin's Creed Unity, where Arno went into different realities based on corrupted memories of the Animus, like how you went to the era of the Black Plague, how you went to World War II, how in Assassin's Creed Syndicate you can play as a descendant of Evie Frey. Like, stuff like that would have been cool. Like, have corrupted memories where Yasuke would literally play out different realities of what happened because of his controversial takes of how he was presented in history. That would have been a really cool story element. But of course, they played it safe. It was boring, uneventful. The story's ending was just like, whatever. Like, it didn't even push the franchise forward. It literally just ended on a whimper. Like, this is coming from a long-term Assassin's Creed fan who's played every major entry since the first game. I was just like, what is the point of this game? Like, why does it exist? There's nothing here that pushes the franchise forward, and both of these characters don't even come to the eye level of any of the other past Assassin's Creed characters, like Jacob and Evie Frey, like Arnold Dorian, Shay Cormac. None of these characters do. And it's really disappointing to see where Ubisoft has fallen. Hopefully, they could bounce back. Maybe they'll learn their lesson. But considering how much damage has been done as a brand, how much people just are sick and tired of them just literally taking their fans for granted, and at this point, fuck up after fuck up, I just don't see them bouncing back. And this is very sad from a person who's invested so much time with the Assassin's Creed franchise in particular, who's played Far Cry, who's loved Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs 2 is one of the most criminally underrated games, I believe. But then we had Watch Dogs Legion, and I was just like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening here. Are they just not listening to the people who actually have good ideas? Or are they just, like, so done with gaming that they're just like, you know what, let's just run our IPs into the ground, make as much money as possible, which they're not even doing at this point, and just sell and cash out. I don't know. It just seems that way. Like, the passion is gone. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think Ubisoft will survive this year? Do you think they're just going to be fully bought out by Tencent? Or do you think they're just going to sell the company to someone else? Like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they sold to Microsoft, but I believe I saw a report a long time ago where they just said they tried to sell the company to other companies, and they just laughed at their face. That would explain why Ubisoft Plus is literally bundled with almost every subscription service available, like PlayStation Plus Premium and Xbox Live Game Pass Ultimate, despite the fact that I think Ubisoft Plus costs like $20-$30 a month. It's expensive for just Ubisoft games. Or you could just pay for Game Pass Ultimate and get the Ubisoft system for free through their system. Same thing for PlayStation Plus. But either way, that's it for me. I don't have any hope for this company at this point. I think that this ship is already sunk, and now it's being just consumed by all the wildlife. But that's it for me. Bye.